Hi, Ann Cornick from Paintnporcelain, and I'm here to get those painters of you interested in painting and keep you painting along with me, and especially beginners. But I'm also here for people who just wonder, what is China painting all about? What is porcelain painting all about? And so I want to show you some of the pieces that I paint. They're available at the Plaza Antiques and Collectibles Mall in Lincoln Park, Michigan. And I'm in booth 538, and you can come by and see my work. And, you know, this is how I do it. So you know that these pieces will be going to the mall. Today I'm going to be working on a cake plate that I got. I've got a couple of them, and I thought doing one for Christmas would really be nice. So I've drawn a design on it, kind of a flimsy design, not anything with a lot of substance. And when I put you down, you'll be able to see it better. But I want to do it with berries and pine cones and things, so it can be used longer than just one season. So these are the colors that I'm going to use today. I'm going to use mistletoe. I'm going to use the medium green that I found. I'm going to use carnation for my red berries. I have a little chartreuse on here. I have a little moss green on here. I don't know if I'm going to use them or not. I just put colors I thought I would use. I have a rich brown, a warm shadow, which I really like, and that's a portrait color as well. And you can see it's kind of a reddish, but when you use it lightly, it's really beautiful. Yellow, brown, number 2, and regular yellow brown. So what I did was I went online and looked for different types of cake plates to see what Christmas cake plates look like. And I came across several, and I took a couple of them and sort of mixed them together, because what I wanted was something that would be year-round, and this is what I came up with. So I have some pine cones here and a couple there. Up here where I didn't do a lot, I'm going to put berries and evergreen. So that's kind of what I'm working on. And I think, and then I have some just regular leaves in here and things, because I want to have some variety. So this is a beautiful plate. And as you can see, it has a lot of decoration on it. So I'm going to play with the decoration, but it also has a real shine to it. Let me see on the back. It doesn't say who made these. I have about 4 of them, and I love them. I just love them. I think they're gorgeous. So I'm going to start out with using one of my favorite brushes, my little 1/4 inch. And I think this is like a 6. Yeah, it is a 6. And I'm going to use the quill. Now, there are 2 kinds of brushes in China painting. There's this, which is the metal ferrule. There's this, which is the quill. And it's like a plastic, and they bind the bristles. And most of these, I don't know if this one says, let me look on it. Yes, this one says Germany. So most of these are German or French. And part of the reason for that is that you just get these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful smooth strokes with it. I just love it. So I've drawn this on, and I'm going to start with the back here. Put the little, I'm using a yellow brown with a side load of the rich brown, because I want it to show up for you if you're watching me paint. If you can't see me painting, then that's no good at all, right? And what I'm doing is I'm just sort of outlining a branch that I want to have go through this entire piece. So down here, I'm just going to kind of paint it in. And this is another one where I'm taking my time. Now, you notice I just turned it around. Why did I do that? Because you need a shadow on both sides here, where the branch is going underneath these different pine cones. Now I'm using a regular yellow brown and just kind of continuing this on with the rich brown. I think I like the lighter yellow brown better, so I'm going to put a little of that up here. I'm full loading because I want to get the lighter yellow brown on here. Now down here, I'm going to bring another one in like this, another branch, and I'm just going to bring it around. I'm not putting a lot of texture on them at this time. I'm just sort of mapping them out, but I'm doing them with kind of choppy strokes because, you know, branches they have a lot of texture to them, and you want to kind of imitate that texture if you can. And then as I go off this way, I need a little more yellow here. I want a little more yellow brown there. That's better. I'm just going to start filtering it down to a smaller branch. Now I'm using mineral oil. Mineral oil will stay open like forever. So this is one of those pieces where if I don't get it all done today, I can continue to work on it and I really won't have a problem with it. Okay, let me take a little bit of the dark here and put it here. There we go. Okay, I'm not going to do much more than that right now. I'm going to put behind the pine cones, I'm going to be putting different things. Another one of these, and it's almost like a Dresden brush, but it's really fine, and it gets a nice point on it for some reason. I don't know why, because it really isn't that type of brush. And I'm just going to start pulling out, and I'm going to use light colors because you can always darken, but you can't always lighten. And I'm going to come up this way. And just put a little branch in there. And then I'm going to take this. Now this usually works for me. It's a scroller. And I'm going to dip it in turpentine. Oh, no, you say not turpentine. Yes, turpentine. Because what I want to do is I want to create pine needles. And pine needles, when they're done with turpentine, whoops, I don't have enough on there, I guess. I thought this was turpentine. I sure hope it is. They really come out well. Come on. I'm using my medium green right now to just try to get some. It takes me a little while to get the, I've got another one here. Let me try this. It takes a little while to get the feel for how to pull these out. So just bear with me, because what you want to do is you want to make them there. And sometimes it's just the brush. Okay. Now I'm going to go into a little bit lighter color, I think. I'm going to use like a moss green with my turpentine. And the reason I'm using turpentine is it really makes it flow. See how I get those nice, smooth strokes? And it will dry. So if you want to paint over it in the future, you can. And it won't, like if you touch it, it won't kill it. Okay, I'm going to put a few. I don't really like the darker ones I did here. I'm going to take a Q-tip, a pointed Q-tip, and I'm just going to flip it around and kind of clean it out. There we go. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to do it's a very pretty, but a very kind of I have it in the backyard. Oops, not so far. Trying to get the moss, and I'm just gonna, there we go. And what you do is you start and you create little branches off of it. I don't like that, so let me grab a Kleenex here and we'll start over. But that's kind of the technique you want to use. All right, there we go. So I'm going to take some moss green with my turp, and I'm just going to pull it down. It's really not dark enough. I want to be able to see it, so let me put a little dark in it. Okay. And then I'm going to pull some off, and they pull up this way. There we go. And then off of each of those, you're going to get little tiny, almost like branches. Those are a little high because as you go up on this, they get smaller and smaller. And they have a curve to them. And again, I'm using turpentine. Oh, shouldn't have gone back over them. And I'm going to pull this way, this way. Okay. And then we're going to do more down here. Having the Lazy Susan like this, that actually, that actually does well like this, make a difference, because it will help you move your plate around as you do this. And I'm using just turpentine. And it's drying as it goes because this is kind of piddly. And if I work on something that's this piddly, what I want to do is have it definitely dry so I don't mess it up as I go along. So now some of this is not at the same value as the other, but next time I think I'll be able to fix it up a little more. I'm going to put berries on it. It'll be juniper berries. That's what it is. It's juniper. Juniper berries are kind of a purple gray. They're really pretty. And so I will do those next time. Okay, now I'm just going to go over some of this. I'm hoping I'm not going to mess it up. I want to clarify a little bit. Now, junipers can be very thin on top. Come here, you. There we go. That's better. No, I don't like that guy there. Okay. So I've done those two. Okay, now I'm going to clean my brush. And I'm going to, I think over here, I'm going to use the turpentine and do the green again. I'm trying to mix my greens, maybe add a little yellow brown to it. There we go. Using chartreuse with a tad of yellow brown. But I'm using the turpentine still. If you haven't used turpentine before for this kind of application, it's really quite amazing how well it does. It's easy to wipe off at the beginning. You can't wipe it off as well at the end, but it gives you a nice fine line. There we go. Okay, I like that variety. I think that's pretty good. Now this is just a first fire, so I am going to clarify this here a little. And a little here. And right here, I'd like to have it be a little cleaner. There we go. And the end here, I want it there. And this one I'm going to push back a little. It's a nice thing about China painting. As you're painting, you can adjust things. You can move things around. I haven't done pine cones in like forever. And so I thought, well, I'm going to try it and we'll see how it works. Now I'm putting the dark in kind of first on this pine cone. Because it's under these over pieces. I've got, I don't know if you can tell, but this here is like a triangle. Kind of looks like this. Here, let me draw it for you. You can see a little better. Okay, what my outline's going to be, it's going to be like this. And then it's going to come up here, and there's going to be like little jaggy things up here. And they can have a point on them. They don't have to have a point on them. And then as I come down the side of it, I pull in these little pieces. And on the top of them, I start putting these little V's like this. And another one here, maybe just a partial. And then here you'll get it like this, and it comes down like this. This is just one kind of pine cone. And then after you get it so that they usually come in on the sides like this. So you want to make sure that you're coming in on the sides. And like this guy would come out like that, and then this would come down like that. And can you see what I'm doing? The part of the pine cone, it's got this V on top, and then it comes down like this on the inside. But it's in here, so you've got these other little V's going over it. And as you get down to the base, it's just little stuff like this. It's not even, and you just kind of draw it in. So that's what I'm working from. I'm taking and doing the under part first. So I'm doing the little part that comes down first, because it's going to be dark. And and it's going to be behind the top part. So I'm doing that first, just to get the color in there. I want the darker color in there underneath it. Yeah, there. Put a little more here. I'm using rich brown side load only, and I'm just using the point of this. And I'm just pulling it in. I just want that color in there. Because if you don't get the depth in on the first couple of fires, you won't ever get the depth in. Oh, geez, look what I did there. Put my finger there and wrecked it. Here, I'm just going to put a couple of little, okay. All right, so let's wipe off this one over here because I certainly messed it up. There. So much for that. I guess maybe some of these should be done after the fact. Then I'm going to take the same brush, and I'm going to use regular yellow brown with a side load of yellow brown 2 or pecan. If you don't have yellow brown number 2, you can always use pecan. And I'm going to do the top part of this. So I'm going to pull it up. Now right here, I want it to be more yellow so that it stands out there. Here and here. These are those little guys that poke out like I showed you at the top. I kind of squared off. This one I want to give a little highlight to. There, that's better. Maybe a little highlight on this one too. Okay. And then I'm going to keep using, I'm mainly using yellow brown because I kind of like the way it looks. Plus it's not going to get lost as I do this. But I have to add a little bit of the darker color so that I can separate one from another. There we go. And then I'm going to turn it around. You always paint towards yourself. So if you're doing a V, you're going to paint part of the V, and then you're going to turn the plate and paint the other part of the V because you want it all to face you. Okay, now this is another little side of a V here. I haven't done them in 1,000 years. I do them a little weird, but you know, everybody has their own style. Now I'm going to take the yellow brown, the regular yellow brown with the darker yellow brown, and just there. Now it's starting to fall into place. Can you see that? Now here's one that's going to be full on that little V. So I'm going to take my yellow brown and just paint the V on. Paint the V over here. There we go. And there's another V here. Oops. My yellow brown was a little too heavy, so I'm going to go into the lighter yellow brown and bring it down, bring it down. When I get done with this, I'm actually going to go in and pull some of these out so that they look more. Now I noticed here I didn't get enough dark, so I need to get a little more dark in there. There we go. I'm going to put a little yellow brown over here. Now this here, I probably should have broken this up into a couple. There's one. And let's put another one right here. Okay, and then I'm going to take my dark and put in between them, shaping them a little bit and coming down here. Okay. Oh, did it again. I can't paint on this side, I guess, because I end up putting my finger in it all the time. There we go. And then we're going to do the base of it here. Now the base I'm going to do with the dark yellow brown 2 and the other. And I'm just going to pull it in. See that? I can even put a little of the dark on it. There we go. You kind of have to picture it in your head. It's not easy. Okay. Now there are a lot of different types of pine cones. So just because I'm painting this one doesn't mean this is the only kind that there is. I like that better. It's a little more symmetrical. They are pretty symmetrical. There we go. Now, I can either take and use my brush with some mineral oil on it and just wipe in the highlights here. I think the brush kind of works better. You want to go from the outside in when you're doing this. You want to clean your brush and pat it really, really well on your towel. And by that I mean you're patting it on this towel and you're patting it and patting it. I usually do it twice because I don't want to mess up what I've done. Now here I've got that little guy there. And here I've got him. I'm just doing it, I'm doing a wipe out on the top so you can kind of see where it folds over, sort of. Okay. Now you can take your small, where is my small? Here we are. Your small wipeout tool. The smallest one you have. Oops. I need a little more down in here. There we go. And you're just going to do the front of these guys. You can even just do them on one side if you want. But you do want to separate them from the background. There we go. Now I am going to take a picture of this because all this variation in the pine cone really won't show up once it's fired. Now I'm just going to smooth some of this that's not very smooth and put a little rich brown on here, and I'm just going to smooth it because I want it to be a little smoother than it is. There we go. And I think I'm going to put a little more. This is with the rich brown. I'm just putting in a couple little chooks down at the bottom because I want to just have it finished out so I know where it ends. Okay. Now, once again, I'm going to start. I start with the dark in the background. So this, all these little lines that you see, I don't know if you can see them. Let me bring them up to you a little more. See all those little squares and stuff? That's the light part. So when I'm putting the dark on, I'm putting it at the lower end. Now, I suppose you could put both on at once. I just have better luck doing it this way. It's just me. I can visualize these little V guys a little better if I have the dark underneath them. But you can do it any way you want. There we go. This is rich brown I'm using. And as you go, just think of it like, gosh, I don't know what the term is, but you're building on top of each other. You're staggering it. It's like using building blocks. You put one here and then you put one there. It's like bricks, you know? And you're going to put a few here and a few there. And eventually, as you put this color underneath, you'll say, oh, well, I see where the other color goes. It's kind of silly, but that's actually the way it works the best, I think, for me. And then down at the base, I'm going to be hiding this behind here. Whoop, see, did it again. But there. Okay, and then I go in, clear it out. Okay, here. I'm just doing the yellow. Look, I'm side loading. Let me show you. I'm side loading like this. I'm back to using mineral oil because my colors came out so true that I find these colors just work much better for me. I mean, this oil just works much better for me. Now here, I'm going to bring it down a little. And here's one that just kind of, yeah. And then you put the detail on after the fact. This guy's kind of loopy in here. I don't know what I'm doing really, so I'm just going to put that there, and then as I pull it out, I think I'll figure it out. So you don't have to know everything to paint this. You just have to get a general sense of what you want, and then you can fill in the blanks. So now I'm going, oh, okay, now I kind of get it. So I'm going to go back with the rich brown, and I'm going to, ooh, a little too dark there. Just add it underneath here. This one's way too dark. So you pat your brush on your towel and you just pull off what you don't want. You can also flip your brush. That's what I just did. I flipped it to the other side. If you flip your brush to the other side, it won't have as much paint on it, and it will also help you. And then down here, I want to just, come here, you. Okay. Maybe put a little below the line here. Yeah. Okay. Now, I'm going to use my turpentine or my mineral spirits, clean it really well, and start doing the wipeout. Remember, you have to decide where your light's coming from. My light's coming from up here, so that's why I'm doing it this way. And I'm just doing the top of that little V, the little fold over V. I'm doing that. There we go. That'll add a little light in. Oops, I guess there should be one there. Okay, so let's paint one in. I'm using turp. You can use turp to paint as long as you're dry with it. Then I'm going to come back with this, turn it upside down, and start doing these V's. I'm using the smallest. There we go. This guy should be a V. There we go. You can do one side or you can do both sides. It just depends what you think you need. Or you could just do underneath. I want to separate where the branch hits there. I'll clean that up a little. There we go. That's why I like using the open medium now, is because I can play and I can take my time. Oops. I get a little dark here. Okay. Okay, boy, time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? So now I'm just going back in and smoothing like I did the last time, separating a few of these. I might put a little dark up in here. There we go. I like the way the dark looks up at the top too. I think it defines it a little better, especially right here. There we go. Okay. Didn't get much done, did I? Alrighty, I'm done with this. So what I'm going to do, no, I don't want that to look like a zigzag there. I don't know if you can see that, but it looks like a little zigzag. No. There. Okay. I'm just going to take my turpentine again, go back into my dark green, and just pull these guys out. There. You kind of have to finesse it. Take some light green, mix it with the darker green. There. This is still too big, so you can either use that or you can come back with your eraser and just put in some fine lines. That will also help to soften that. So I'm going to leave those two right now. I'm not going to really do much more today. I've kind of played with it to the point of distraction. And you know when you're getting tired, stop. That's why using this, I think, helps. It's going to take me a while to get through the whole thing, just like it did with the Santa. And I might come back on and do a little more tomorrow. But right now, I'm just going to take a breather. I'll take a fresh look at it. And I'm also going to take a picture of it. Sometimes you take a picture of something and you go back and look at it. It turns out that it's exactly what you want it to be. And then I have to decide what I'm going to do around the edge ultimately. I think it needs a color around the edge. And I don't know how I want to work with all these little guys. I may wipe off some of these finer details, like not these guys particularly, but I might actually up in the other section put something over it and then go back and do a background and try to bring the background over it. You have to pick your pine cones. So what I do, just because we're talking process more than anything with me, I didn't even look at these this time, but here's one example. This up here, you can really see how those pine cone little stems go down. Then here's another one I have. This is a softer pine cone. It's a little bit bigger. They have this one down here, which I kind of duplicated on here because I kind of like that. And it shows the different steps. And then I have Bill Garrison painted pine cones years ago. And I happened to come across one of his plates. Look at that. Very impressionistic. And he just plopped them on. So, you know, you can do just about anything you want to do, I guess. But he was a gorgeous painter too, so. Alrighty then, pick up those brushes and keep painting, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.